here with us now, Darius Pridgen, Bishop of the True Bethel Baptist Church. Bishop, thank you for being with us this evening. True Bethel Baptist, just over a mile from the Tops supermarket. You're also the president of the Buffalo City Council. How is the community coping with this horrible mass shooting?
Well, first of all, thank you for paying attention to this horrific crime. The community is not dealing well at all, which is to be expected. And there are a lot of questions, a lot of hurt, but people from across the world are actually reaching out to this community to express their sorrow and condolences.
Yeah. Do you know any of the victims and their families personally?
Absolutely. One of the victims was a part of the district that I also represent on the city council. I'd actually been to her house. She had been to the church. We had worked together. And then one of the victims who lived, actually, his family is a part of our church. He was shot through the neck and he lived. And Buffalo is a tight-knit community. There's probably less than 2 degrees of separation. So in some ways, almost every person who was killed, there's some connection that we have to him.
You know, people are calling the attack a racially motivated hate crime. Bishop, how can we stand up against racism and hatred?
You know, it definitely was a hate crime if the manifesto is actually his, and there's no reason to believe that it is not, because he specifically said that he was coming to basically kill Black people. And the question of how do we stand? We must be honest about the fact that there are still white supremacists that live on our land, and that there are still people who do not like Black people and would rather for them to die. And if we don't have the uncomfortable conversations, even when there is not a mass shooting, we will never be able to stand up against racism. Look, David had to stand up against Goliath. When other people ran away from him, David went toward him. It wasn't Goliath coming toward him. It was David who took an initiative to go toward him. And that, to me, is what we have to do, especially those of us who say we believe in Jesus Christ. You know, I keep saying it's hard to talk about Jesus if you don't talk about justice. And at the end of the day, this is a time to talk about justice.
You know, as a pastor and a man of faith, how do you make sense, Bishop, of such senseless violence and loss?
You know, if those of us who believe in this Bible, there's been evil in this world from the fall of man. And so we know that there's evil. This was just evil sticking its head out. Trust me, there's others who probably have the same feelings that this person had about race relations, about Black people. At the end of the day, the way we have to deal with it is to recognize that man had a fall, that there is evil in this world, but that to overcome evil, we must depend on the God that we serve, and then conduct ourselves in a way to bring justice to our land.
Yeah, that's a good word. All right, Bishop Darius Pridgen, thank you so much for your time this evening. And of course, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your community in this difficult time.
Thank you.